what's up? This is Coach Stokes, Stokes House Boxing Academy. You got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready. We're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Live with Coach Stokes, where we dive. I'm sorry, bro. I'll cut this out. Where we dig deep when it comes to the people that we're talking to inside and outside the ring. Today's very special guest is a man who didn't just fight to stay in the game, but he rebuilt the entire ring entirely. Coach Jose Morales is the powerhouse behind the Jose Morales Boxing Academy in Roseville, California. When the gym was on the brink of shutting down, Jose didn't fold, he flipped the script. Drawing from a serious background in sales, customer service, and leadership, he transformed a struggling boxing gym into a seven-figure success story. But this isn't just about business. It's about building a movement. From training boxers to mentoring coaches across the globe, Coach Jose is setting a new standard in how the sport evolves while honoring his roots. Get ready for a conversation that pulls no punches. So without further ado, please welcome my guest, Coach Jose Morales. How you doing, Coach?
What's up, Coach Stokes? I appreciate you having me on. Anytime you get invited to a podcast or anything like that that is not your platform, it's a great blessing and it's very humbling and grateful. For me, it says a lot. So I want to tell you, thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I've been following you for quite some time. And I tell you, I like what you're doing, and continue to keep doing this for the young men and women out there in your area, Roseville, but not only just in Roseville, throughout the sport of boxing in general. So thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, hey, Coach, let's dig right into it. When your gym was close to shutting down, what was the moment you knew you couldn't let it go?
All right. So it wasn't actually my gym yet. The gym had been running. It was previously called Primetime Boxing, which Primetime Boxing had 3 locations, a Folsom, a Roseville, and a Sacramento location. It was ran by Angelo Nunez and Kerry Williams. And they did a great job with their gyms. They ran it since 98. Due to the things that they had going on with their life, they were no longer active in the Roseville location. And the Roseville location was getting ready to close down. They had a date already to close its doors. Throughout this time is when I had already been saving money. I was already in the process of looking for locations to open my own gym. So while I was in the process of looking for a gym, I found out that this gym that I actually used to work at when I was 16 was going to close its doors. And for me, I was like, I need to jump on this. It's going to save me a lot of money. I don't need to buy equipment. I need to buy a ring. It's already there. And plus, I already have familiarity with clients and people in that area that will probably come train with me. And that's what made me want to take over and buy it. So it wasn't failing when it was under mine. I took over in a failing boxing gym that it was getting ready to close its doors.
Got you. I love the story behind that because it was something that you felt like, did you feel like you had to go ahead and buy this because it was like, you didn't want it all the hard work and effort and everything you've seen behind it. You didn't want it to just go ahead and diminish?
Honestly, it was a little bit of everything, So just to give you a background on this gym, Primetime Boxing actually had played a big part in my career, in my life. Both Angelo and Kerry, and then everybody that was around that. Athletes, boxers, members, everything. I started boxing there, and from there, when I left, I still kept competing. But when I was offered the job to coach, I was teaching Chino classes for people that were just doing it for fun. I was at the Roseville location for about 3 years, and I grew a lot of friendships with people in that area. And to hear that gym was going to close, it was crazy to me because I had been there for 3 years, which was 6 years prior. So I did have a little of an emotional attachment to that gym because of that. So I did want to be a part of it, and I did want to be the guy to change it and to take over. So I did want to be that. And I also I was very inspired and motivated to really change boxing, the way boxing gyms ran in general. So even if this gym wasn't there and that opportunity didn't present itself, I was already 100% committed to opening a boxing gym and changing it. So I was already in the process of opening a gym. I was going to do it regardless. This fell in my hands and it saved me money, which was a huge blessing, but I was already in the process of doing it. So it was a little bit of both.
Okay, got you. So this is happened to end up falling in your lap?
Yeah.
Hey, it was all written. God wrote all that out, and so it was meant to be.
Yes, sir.
Got you,
Yeah.
got you. How did your background in sales reshape how you approach boxing?
I'll tell you a little bit about that. So when I was working on cars, I left the gym Primetime Boxing when I was coach when I was still competing. And for me, I didn't want to teach boxing and compete. It was like it was too much. And I want to really pursue my boxing career. And when that didn't work out, I got into the automotive world. And I was first, wrenching, doing the basic R&R, and little by little that grew. And then I got into the front side of the shop. And then from there, I was in charge of the service department at a dealership, which is not the part that sells the cars, but the part that fixes the cars. But that is 100% commission based. You get paid depending on how much cars you fix, how much sales you make from that. And during this time, I was volunteering at boxing gyms because it was in my heart. Like boxing was a big part of my life. It was a big part of me. I couldn't just shut the door on boxing and forget about it completely. And when I was volunteering at boxing gyms for free and just seeing different boxing gyms and how coaches coach and how the gym functions and operates, and I was comparing it to what I was doing as far as a service department, a whole bunch of different cars, fixing a whole bunch of different cars, dealing with a whole bunch of different personalities as far as technicians. I started seeing that there's a very structure in boxing gyms. And for me, what I did is I implemented a lot of structure that I gained from running shops. I was in shops that were small to big that had 30, 40, 50 people and different personalities and different things. And along with the service that I had to provide to upset customers, people are coming in. You don't get a happy person that's coming in with their car broken. Typically, you're dealing with upset people. So learning all that and how to deal with upset customers, how to deal with organizing and being very, very efficient with your time, I implemented all that into a boxing gym. And that is how I came up with what I do, which I feel like is a big difference between me and any other boxing gym in the world is because of that, because it's so organized. And that's what allows me to scale the business. That's what allowed me to scale the business.
Brother, I heard you call somebody this on your podcast when you talking to Coach Benjamin, and he is you. I don't know if you call him the ultimate hustler or what, but I know by you just telling that story and by you having a full time job and you going to a boxing gym or offering your time to boxing gyms, you are the ultimate motherfucking hustler.
Mhm.
That's something that's not easy to do, man. And on top of that, you can see your sheer drive and will of wanting to be a part of boxing. Like I was my wife, like how much boxing had saved my life, man. Everything I've done in my life has been around boxing, whether it's the people I've met, going into the military, being out here in California, talking to you. Everything that operates in my life has been in the sport of boxing. How important has boxing been to you?
Same, 100% the same. I'm raised by a single mother. Have an older sister that's 7 years older than me. So really, we weren't really that close. I had no male figure in my life, no father figure, no male influence at all. So I felt very vulnerable growing up. I felt like I was lacked security because I felt like if anything ever happened, who would come back me up? Who would be there for me as far as in a physical way? And growing up where I grew up, as far as, being around, being Mexican, you automatically get automatically, oh, you're there, you're this, you're that, you're a part of this gang or this gang. And growing up, being around that and feeling vulnerable is something that becomes very scary for a young boy, 10, 11, 12-year-old boy. And boxing gave me that security when I started boxing. And then as far as security as defending myself, but then I met a lot of great people, like you said, coaches that really saved my life as far as teaching me things about life, how to talk to girls, how to treat girls, friendships, credits, financial advice, what should you do, what you shouldn't do. That's all things that boxing gave to me that I did not have. And that is what I wanted to bring to people. And I didn't want to bring fitness. I didn't want to bring a fitness gym. I didn't want to come and promote fitness and, oh, boxing for fitness. If you look at my Instagram and you look at my boxing business page and my website and you come to my boxing gym, it is 100% boxing. There's no fitness. I don't promote fitness. I don't promote nothing of that. I promote boxing. And boxing is what changes people. And boxing is what made me who I am. And that is what I want to provide to my community. And that's exactly why this for me is bigger than just I didn't open a gym to get rich. I opened a gym to make an impact. I just happened to make money while I was at it. But that wasn't my main focus. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes a lot of sense because you and I both know most boxing gyms they're not making money. Not
Nope.
like that.
Hmm.
It's hard. So
Very hard.
I salute you for even putting out there and being transparent and saying that you were in a single parent household because I too was in a single parent household. I was raised not by my mom. I was raised by my grandmother. I'm a product
Yeah.
of a young 15-year-old mom. So my grandmother raised me and my grandfather raised me. So I get what you're saying, man, and I appreciate you because we made it, brother. We made it, man. The statistics of us not making it and saying that you're going to be in a gang or I'm going to be incarcerated, man. You got a beautiful family. I got a beautiful family, beautiful kids.
Yeah.
We doing it, brothers. I
Hey,
take my hat off to you, man. Thank
hey,
you, brother.
likewise, coach. Congratulations to you too, because it is. And to be real, that's something that always motivated me. I had a teacher tell me things like that. I had a teacher once tell me that I was going to be incarcerated and this and that. Anytime I had family. I had family. I was a kid that didn't want their kids around. Oh, don't hang out with Jose. Don't do that with Jose. I was that kid because of the energy and how I was growing up. I always had that chip on my shoulder that I wanted to not only do something, but I wanted to shut these people up. You expect this of me. I'm gonna show you that you're wrong about me. And the best way, instead of arguing and instead of pushing back, is to just prove them wrong. And how do you prove them wrong? With what you do, your actions. And I agree with you, coach. We made it, and we ain't done yet. And we ain't done.
No, no, man. We far from done, brother. Far from
Yes,
done.
sir.
Coach, was there ever a point where boxing felt more like business than a sport? And how did you reconcile the two?
No, there's never. To be honest, one the biggest thing for me has always been boxing. I if I had to get away from boxing to make money, I don't think I would do it. I would. To me, I wanted to prioritize boxing. All I did was add structure to it because coaches get taken advantage of a lot. They get taken advantage of, and what I mean by that is coaches give, 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 and then at the end they got shit to show for because all they did is they invested so much time into one person, and then that person didn't do shit. Does that make sense? Or
It
did it?
does.
They didn't do nothing. So to me, it was just, and I'll tell you a big thing. And this is a big tip for me, for anybody that has a boxing gym, even coaches. I looked at what all other sports did. What does every other sport do that boxing doesn't do? And the biggest thing with that there's a lot of things that boxing gyms don't do that soccer academies and mixed martial art academies and all these other academies do everywhere else. And the biggest one is how they structure their programs and how they charge. Boxing does not, but most boxing gyms do not how to have don't have a structure as far as this is for this is for that, this costs this much, this is when you're gonna pay. It's a system and it's set and do, and you don't break that for nothing. What I mean by that, you don't break. It's like the Ten Commandments. Like these are my Ten Commandments for my business, and I ain't breaking them for nothing. These are my rules, and if you respect me and you want to train with me, you're gonna do them. And if you're not, then go find yourself somebody else. Because with me, these are my rules. And that's something that I learned from when I was a kid at the Washington Center when I was training. When you came there, you follow the coach's rules. Regardless of what those rules were, you follow them. And if you didn't follow them, you're not going to get coached. And that's exactly what I did. And I just did it on a bigger scale. And by doing that, not only are you going to create people that are going to listen to you, more coachable, but you're going to create a environment and an atmosphere of people that are grateful and appreciate what you're providing for them. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I'm glad you said it, Coach, because you get a lot of people when they speak about the sport of boxing, they look at boxers as if they come from a poor environment. Their parents may not be educated. They may not be educated. They may be troubled, and so on. And a lot of them bring that mentality to the sport of boxing, where it's like it's a warfare mentality. I hate to say,
Yep. Very
you understand
true.
what I'm saying, Coach?
Very true.
So by you saying that, could you give a little bit of game to some coaches who are dealing with those type of things? Because I've had people that come to me and ask for the homie hookup, and I don't do homie hookups. It's either one price, you can pay it, or you can't pay it. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit, Coach?
Hell yeah. This is what I tell coaches, and this is even just in general with business. I don't trade work for people, so I never do anything like, hey, do this and I'll do that. I don't do that because it always ends bad. Because you probably do more work or they do more work. Someone's gonna feel unappreciated. But the second thing is there's a price, and that price is for everybody. It doesn't matter who this person is. That's for everybody. And if they appreciate you and they respect you, and if you're a coach, this is a big step. They got to respect you. That price is set for everybody, regardless who they are. Now, obviously, and I'm going to tell you this because I was one of these kids. I was one of these kids when I started at Primetime Boxing. It was very expensive for my family at the time that we couldn't afford it. So what I did when we got there, it was actually three different people. My sister, her boyfriend, her husband now, and my mother, they all three paid for my membership. And they paid for my very first month, 2 months, and then my family saw I mean, we couldn't keep paying that. So I went straight up and I asked, and I'm like, look, I don't know if I keep boxing because I can't afford this. And what they did for me is they're like, hey, look, what we're gonna have you do, we're gonna sponsor you, but you're gonna clean the mirrors every day. You're gonna sweep here. You're gonna do that. Somebody that really wants to be a part of your gym and appreciates you will take that and do that like they're cleaning their house, like they're cleaning something they love. Why? Because they appreciate you and they appreciate your gym. Now, those are the kind of things I do if someone really needs help. And if they need help, I always trade it with something that they have to do. And you got to vacuum the ring. You got to do this. You got to do that. If they say no to that, they don't appreciate you. They're just trying to be stingy, cheap, and not spend money with you. And honestly, boxing coaches, we give a lot. We're more than just a coach. I mean, we mentor, we damn near babysit. And then on top of that, you can't pay whatever our price is. That's just a big slap in the face. We have all these expenses and all these things. How the hell do you want me to be here for you at my best for you if you can't chip in to keep these lights on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And honestly, if you have to go this deep into conversating with somebody about your price, let them go. I mean, if they can't accept what your price is, I will never try to convince you why my price is what it is and why I do what I do. You can't accept it. There's a million other places that can go take advantage of somebody else, but you ain't taking advantage of me.
And ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. Appreciate your coach, your teacher, the one that's taking the time out with your son and your daughter, every day, that's giving them that time, because you and I both know, coach, the students, our fighters would tell us more things than they will even say to their parents, man. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Yeah, for real. Parents can't get anything out of these kids, but they will come and tell you things where it's like, wow, do your mom and dad know this? No, they don't know that. That's how much they confide in us. So I love how you put in the structure, but not only that though, you're keeping them accountable
Yep.
with everything that you're doing.
There's no reason why going out to dinner should cost more than your boxing gym membership. I mean, we're a freaking therapist, a trainer, a coach, a mentor. We're all these things, and your friend. And you can't lowball that. Come on, baby.
No, no, not at all. I'm glad you said that, because they go get some McDonald's, and McDonald's be like 25, $30 just for one freaking meal.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, what's one belief you had about leadership that running the academy completely shattered?
So the biggest thing with leadership is you have to be able to lead by example. You have to be able to I tell everybody on my team this. I will never have you do something that I've never done before. So I'm not going to tell you to wake up at 4 if I don't do it or if I've never done it before. I'm not going to tell you to talk to people or to do this and to do that if I've never done it before. And then I lead by example. I show you exactly what I'm expecting out of you. And then I trust you to do it. I don't micromanage. Everyone on my team knows that. If I hired you and I see potential in you, I trust you that you're going to get that job done. I give you my full trust until you show me that I can't trust you. And most people are the opposite with that. Most people don't trust no one until they're proven that they could trust somebody. I treat everybody complete. I start all over. I did that completely opposite. I trust everybody until they show me that I can't trust them. And the reason why I do it that way is one, when you do that, your team is going to grow a lot bigger. You're going to create a lot more friendships and you're going to have a stronger bonds with people because there's going to be a whole lot more people that you can trust than the ones you can't trust. Also, when you have good vibes, good energy, you attract people like you. If you're a snake, you're going to get a whole bunch of snakes around you. There's probably why you have snaky ass people around you is because you're a fucking snake yourself. If you're a
Facts.
good person, if you're good hearted and you're looking out for people, you're going to attract the same kind of people towards you. Does that make sense?
That
So
makes a lot of sense.
Angelo actually told me this, and I'll share this quick story with you guys. When I was about 19 years old, we had this fancy boxing event, and at the time, I had a grill. I used to wear jabos and a tall tee with some Nikes. That was like my outfit, and
Hold up, coach. Hold up, coach. Hey, just for these young kids who watching this, Jabot was a big popular brand name jeans that we had during our era during the '90s and early 2000s. Just so you guys don't get lost. Sorry about that, coach.
Yeah, yeah. And I had every color in them motherfuckers. That's what I used to always wear. So we had this fancy event, and Angelo was like, "Hey, I can't have you wearing, pulling up dressing like that." He said, "You gotta dress nice." He took me to Nordstrom Rack, and he actually bought me this outfit. I didn't buy it. I still want to tell him. I tell him thank you every time. But he bought me shoes, shirt, jeans, belt, had me looking like I'd never dressed before. Everything
Mhm.
was in my size because I never wore things my size. And he was like, he's a Jose. He's like, this is a big tip. You attract what you put out. He's like, if you dress like a hood rat, you're gonna attract hood rats. He's a dress nice, look nice, you're gonna attract nice women. He's all, I guarantee you, after dressing like this, you'll never go back to dressing like how you were dressing. And I was like, I don't know, I feel fucking weird. It was my first time dressing like that. I'm like, this feels weird as shit. I can't dress like this. He's like, well, wear it. Well, that day I went out, we did that event, bro. I had women that I never seen look at me before look at me. All these like high end women with looking real good, older women and just mature women. I'm used to like hood rat bitches looking at me, right? And then when these women looking at me, I was like, damn, Angela was right. I could fucks with this. Completely changed me. After that, I never dressed like that again because he was right. And it's the same thing with the conversation we were just having. I mean, the leadership comes with also who you're attracting as a person you are. So to be a good leader, you have to have good qualities yourself. You have to be who it is that you're trying to attract, and it starts with you.
I agree 100%. I'm gonna be transparent and let you know it's taken me time over the years to become that way. My wife is totally different. My wife is the type that she would give you the benefit of the doubt. Me, where I come from and how I was raised in New York, it's like I'm guarded. Not like I used to be, but I'm guarded in some ways until I get to know you. And once I get to know you, all right, cool. If we have some experiences together, me and Jose, I know Coach Morales because we've been through some shit together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But if I don't know you, it's like I'm watching. I'm watching you. I'm not judging you, but I'm watching you until I get to know who you are. And some people may look at that as standoffish, even arrogant. It's not
yeah,
arrogant. It's just like if I don't know you, then I'm not gonna push myself off on you, but we will come to know each other over time. But what you said, I've really been practicing that and utilizing that because if you send off those vibrations and they're positive, you're gonna get that exactly back. But if you have negativity, you're gonna get that same shit. You're gonna get gang members coming around you. You're gonna get liars. You're gonna get cheaters. You're gonna get everything within your realm.
exactly. 100%, coach. So yeah, it starts with you. It
It
starts with
does.
you 100%.
I got another question. How do you teach integrity in a sport that's often seen as cutthroat?
That's a good question. The way I teach it, and I'm gonna give you what the Washington Center was, and that's what for me I learned a lot, and I implemented a lot of this to what I do now. I don't know how familiar you are with the Washington Center. You're not from here, so you're probably not too familiar. But in Sacramento, Washington Neighborhood Center in the '90s, '80s, early 2000s had it was one of the best boxing gyms. We had a few world champions come out of there, and at the time when I trained there was about 20, 30 people there. But everyone that trained there was either a pro or a top amateur or getting close to compete. But that's it. You didn't see nothing else. And when I first went to that gym is when I left Primetime. And I went there because my trainer that trained me at Primetime, which was Angelo's cousin, Tucker, he had to get a second job. He was like, hey, I'm not going to be able to coach you no more, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they were like, you should go to the center. I listened. I listened to what I was told. I went to the center. And when I got there, the first day I walked in, I went up to talk to the coach. The coach didn't listen to me. He didn't even budge. He didn't say nothing. Then he just told me to go sit down at this bench by the ring. I sat down. I sat down on this bench by the ring, and I keep in mind I didn't drive. Wasn't even old enough to drive yet. And I sit on this ring. I mean, on the bench by the ring, and I wait until they're closing because I'm just sitting there. No one's talking to me. When they're closing up, I went up to talk to the coach, and the coach was like, come back tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I leave, I go home, come back the next day, same exact story. I sit on the bench, no one's talking to me, closing, and then I'm leaving. Now the second day when I'm leaving, I call my coach, that my original coach that told me to go there. I was like, hey, man, these guys ain't fucking with me, man. I'm sitting there, I mean, I'm trying to train. They're just having me sit on this fucking bench. They're just fucking with me. He was like, just do what they're telling you. They're telling you to come back tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And for me, it was irritating because, like I said, I didn't drive. I feel like I was wasting time. It took me an hour to get there with the bus, public transportation, light rail. It took me a while to get there from my house. And I go the third day. On the third day, I didn't even say nothing. I already knew what he was going to tell me. I went, sat down on the bench. I didn't go up to him, nothing. When they were closing, the gym was closing, everybody's leaving. I still sat there. I didn't even get up. And then he came to me finally. He was like, look, he's like, I can coach you now. He said, you know why I can coach you? He said, because you're coachable. You're coachable. He's on. I told you to sit on this bench and not do nothing, and you did it. I was doing that to see if you listen, because I'm not gonna waste no time with you until you show me that you listen. And that is what I at the time I was like, damn. I didn't think too much of it. But then when I became a coach, it came back to my head and I remembered. And the reason why that memory was so clearly, because I remember how pissed off I was. I remember how pissed off I was of me going back and forth and not training. I was furious. But now when I became a coach, I was like, man, how the fuck do I do that? How do I do that with people coming to my gym? How do I get these people to come here and be like, oh, sit on this bench. I'm not going to talk to you. Motherfuckers ain't no one going to sign up ever. And, they're not going to listen. So that is why I implemented things like, I expect you to memorize this. I expect you to do this first. I expect you to teach me how to do this. And I expect you to memorize like an oath that's like two paragraphs long, talking about your character, and promising to maintain a certain character inside and outside the gym. And a big part of that is obviously because I do expect you to do that. But the biggest one is because that shows who's going to listen. If I tell you to memorize this and you're not going to do it because you don't like it, or you're too cool for that, or I don't even bother with you. But if you're going to listen and do as you're told, you follow along. And doing things like that is when you are building integrity. Because there's people that are going to do things because they want to do it, not because you're watching them and not because you're telling them, because they really, really want to do this. And that's the biggest separator for me. If you look at what I do, I'm probably the only boxing gym that does that, because I'm teaching you from the beginning. I'm teaching you here mentally, spiritually, way before I get to you physically. And that's how I teach integrity right there.
You're off the top. You're not a transactional coach. You're not one that's just looking for, even though winning is great, getting championships is great, but at the end of the day, you're building people. You're
Exactly.
building excuse me, yeah, you're building the next generation that's gonna be taking over for us. And those guys, hopefully, they're doing the exact same thing. So you are a transformational coach, where it's not just about boxing, but it's about boxing, what they're doing at home, what they're doing
Yep.
in their school studies, what they're doing at job, at their career, everything. So
Yes.
that in itself, it's good. Man, you're saving souls already, brother.
Yeah.
You're doing so much, man. So when you leave this earth, God willing, when God calls us all up there in that big place in the sky, they make recreation centers after motherfuckers like you, named Jose Morales. I don't know if I
Thank you,
spoke
brother.
right up, but if it comes one day, hey, you heard it live. You heard it live here today, Coach
Hey, you
Stokes,
ain't
live
lying.
with Coach Stokes, for real. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you, Coach. That really means a lot, for real. That means a lot. And look, I'm gonna give you guys a business tip, and this is real for all the coaches out there listening. When people want to get into boxing and they want to scale their business and they think about making money, they start focusing on the fitness aspect. And they're like, oh, everybody wants to work out, blah 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 blah, and they start promoting fitness. And to me, I always stuck to boxing because of that reason that you were just talking about, that I'm transforming people. And when you think and when you focus on transforming people and bettering people, you know what you get? You get a wider pool of people. Because look, people that are focused on losing weight is a certain kind of person. That's usually people that are overweight that are focused on losing weight. But you're not going to get a skinny person thinking about losing weight. But now when you're thinking about transforming people, everybody wants to transform. Everybody wants to be better than they were yesterday. It doesn't matter if they're 70 years old or they're 15 years old, if they're fat and they're skinny, if they're a female or male. Everybody wants to be better than they were yesterday. So when you think about what boxing is, boxing transforms people. I use boxing as a tool to transform these people. And that is my selling point. That allows me to have a wider pool of people that I can reach for my demographics to get in my gym. But when you focus on fitness, your pool is smaller. And that means the people that are going to go through your doors is a lot less. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. It does. Thank you for recognizing that. What does winning look like to you now compared to when you first started boxing?
Winning for me, there's different, but depending different roles where I'm at in life as a father, as a husband, as a coach, as a business owner. But winning for me in life is honestly just making an impact and a positive impact and seeing transformation. Rather that is, seeing somebody that was scared to get in the ring finally, or actually someone competing that never thought were competing, or somebody actually winning something that they haven't won something, a fight or a tournament or something like that. All those things are wins for me. Those are all different types of wins. You got little wins, you got big wins, but those are all wins. And these are all things that, and I'm gonna share this too with coaches. And coaches that are out there know this and can probably 100% relate to this. Coaching is something that is very, very sensitive, and it fucks with our emotions. There's days that we're fucking high, and then there's days we're really, really low. Like when I go to nationals and one of my fighter loses, I'm fucking depressed. I'm sad. I'm like, damn, I'm down on it. And these are the kind of wins you have to congratulate yourself and give yourself more credit for, because this is what keeps us going every day, and these are what gives our spirits up. So anytime something you feeling down, you got to look at all the shit that you do that's dope, all the little wins, all the wins that are not as big as other ones, and give yourself credit for that, because you're like, dang, I'm actually doing something that most aren't doing, and that's gonna bring your spirit up more. So yeah, for me, winning is all of that. All those little wins, big wins. There's just different types of wins, but at the end of the day, it's a win.
Coach, I'm glad you mentioned that when it comes to you being a fighter and now you're a coach. This coaching element is a different animal, bro.
Yep.
I tell anybody, I would prefer to put on the boxing gloves and get in there and fight any day. Vice being a coach. I love being a coach, man, but it is nerve wracking. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man. Hey, my son, he gets in there, he's good. I'm like, you good? It's not him, it be me.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, his first fight, I remember my wife was like, "Hey, Diesel wants some water." My son named Diesel. I was like, I went to go get him some water. I was like, I drank up all this damn water, so I had to go run to go get him some water because I'm nervous, and I'm not trying to show him that I'm nervous.
Yeah.
So it's
I agree. I think it's even harder as a father because you really it's your kid. But in general, I even myself, out of all my fights, I get more nervous as a coach than I ever did as a fighter. As a coach, I feel like you can no longer defend them. And when you're the fighter, you feel like you can defend yourself. You feel like you can do what you got to do. But when you're the coach and you're outside of the ring, you almost feel like hopeless. Like, man, I just hope it goes well. I mean, I don't know if I can help him. You know what I'm saying? I hope he doesn't get hit with something crazy. So that helpless is the word I was looking for, not hopeless. Helpless.
yes,
But yeah, I agree with you, coach. It is a lot harder emotionally. And then a big thing as a coach that people don't understand or see. Now, coach, people don't see is the emotional roller coaster that we go through daily when you give somebody this and then they leave, or when someone is struggling and you can't help them, or when someone loses a fight and they're heartbroken. All these things that go with the coaching business, man, it's a toll on your heart, on your spirit. It's very, very, very emotionally
yes,
um driven, and it beats you up emotionally. I can speak from experience. I've had multiple, and one thing that helped me as a coach, and I'm gonna share this with the coaches too, is you have to learn, and I think we struggle with this as coaches. You have to learn to understand first, but biggest thing, accept that as a coach you are a vessel to these athletes and to these people. And what that means is most coaches go into the business, right? And you're coaching and you're this, and then you put all your effort into this. And it's like they watch too many damn movies and you feel like this is a kid that you're going to go and make an Olympian, and then you're making a world champion, and blah, 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 the Cinderella story. And you feel like because you're doing this one day, this is what's going to happen. And we create this fantasy in our head of something that's possibly happened for us. But realistically, our job as coaches is to make an impact in these kids' lives. And when
sorry.
they no longer need us, or they need to evolve and they need to move on to the next chapter in life, we have to accept that and be okay with that. And most of us are not. And we do not know how to deal with that. And that's when you have to create that, you got to separate and just separate yourself from that, because if not, it will beat you up. And
Mhm.
and that's how I learned to see it throughout the years is I'm a vessel. I'm here to make you better. And at one point you're gonna outgrow me, you're gonna do this or that, or you're gonna just think you're better. And really you don't need to leave, but you think you do. You
Yes.
need to be okay with it.
So getting into talking about that, let's dig a little deeper. Was there ever a time where you had to fire a fighter or had to
Oh
part
yeah,
ways with a fighter? What can you give us an example?
yeah. I'll give you one. I've had multiple scenarios, but I'll give you one. I had a kid once, and it broke my heart because I love the kid. I loved him. I actually still talk to him, but real close with him. And I could tell he loved me too, though. I know the love was mutual. It wasn't that I didn't love, he didn't love me. The love for each other was mutual. But he no longer listened. He was big on Instagram, YouTube, and all this and that. And he really, really admired, social media public figures and things like that. And that he would get caught up with, oh, look what they're doing. And after so much of that, he started being like, well, I can do better doing this. I should be doing that. I should be doing that. And once you get a fighter thinking he knows what to do more than you, or he no longer needs to listen to you because he knows better, I approach you with a conversation. And then after that, a conversation, I approach it again. Hey, nothing changed. If I have to keep talking about this, yo, go somewhere else. So that's what happened. We had a scenario. It wasn't working. It wasn't working. He was not listening to what we're doing, what we're supposed to be doing. Pulled him outside the gym, and I just told him straight up. I was like, look, I love you to death. I will always be here for you. I'm not dying. I'm always here for you. But I don't think you here is good for either of us now. One is you're becoming cancerous to the rest of your teammates because of the attitude. And second, you're not listening to me no more. So what's the point of you being with me? Maybe you need a fresh start. Maybe you need a new coach and just be somewhere that will bring the best out of you because I don't think this is the place for you now. And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's how I fired him. That's how we split ways, and that's how it worked out. But that's how I see it. And sometimes too is we wait before they even start training with us. If once they come into the gym and I get this vibe that we just don't vibe, it just doesn't click. I don't care for them. If I don't care for you, I can't coach you. I gotta care for you. If I don't like you and I don't care for you, I can't coach you. To coach you, I have to be. It has to hurt me to see you get hit. You know what I'm saying? It has to be like, man, I don't want to see you get hit. Man, I don't want to see that happening to you. If I don't feel
Yeah.
that way, shit ain't. I'm not your coach.
Right. And I agree with that because there's a lot of coaches that I've seen and I know you've seen on the regular where it's like, I feel for this kid. How much longer this kid is going to be fighting because his coach don't know jack
Mhm.
and he's going to get him hurt. So I'm glad you said that, coach. You mentored many coaches, within when it comes to boxing, when it comes to business. What's the biggest mistake you see that these coaches are making?
Fuck, man. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. But I'm gonna give you a common one. This is a common one, but there's a lot. The common one is there's a couple common ones, but I'm gonna give you the one I think is huge, and I think most people will get something from this one is claiming like separating like this is my box fit classes and this is my competitive team classes. My box fit and my competitive. So to me, and the reason why I feel like this is a big mistake is you want to create a synergy where it's all connected. So, for example, when I created the program and what I do and what I run, I studied, like I told you, every sport, every academy that you can think of. And if you go to a soccer academy in Europe and Mexico and wherever you go, or you go to a mixed martial arts studio where you got black belts and white belts and all these different belts, you don't hear of a soccer fit class and then out of nowhere you have the soccer training class. It's like, where did that come from? I thought we were at a boxing gym. You're no longer a boxing gym because now you're a fitness gym. Now, what you have to focus on if you're really a boxing gym is boxing. Look, this is my boxing class for adults or my boxing class for teenagers, my boxing class for you. This is
Yes.
you break it up in levels, you break it up in groups and ages, and that's how you're going to develop people, and that's how you separate them. But you shouldn't separate it with a box fit or a competition. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand development. That's a big part of development. And I'm in the business of developing and transforming people. And that's where it comes from. And let me explain why. Once you have somebody in a box fit class, their mentality is box fit. All it
Mm,
is fitness, working out. That's it. They ain't focused on nothing else. But the moment you tell them that they're in a class, a boxing class, and now they're focusing on boxing, now you're getting them the opportunity to fall in love with the sport. And then maybe in a year or 2 years, they grow into wanting to do more. Now you fully develop this person, female, male, wherever it is. Versus when it's box fit, they never even think about it.
And also that creates a pride of belonging, because I tell my wife this. I said it's very intimidating going into a real boxing gym. Most people, they're intimidated of going to In Shape or going to Gold's Gym, just walking in where they see people, lifting dumbbells and stuff. But you talking about going to a boxing gym, it's very intimidating. But I understand what you're saying, because if you don't just go ahead and put them in a box fit class and you let them know, like, you're gonna do this, it's gonna be catered to what you want to go ahead and do. After a while, they're gonna say, you know what, I can do this. I'm
Yep.
here. I'm here with Jose. I'm here with Steve. I'm here with Alberto. I'm here with Raheem. Man, I think I can do this. Hey,
Yep.
coach, you think you can give me a little bit more? You want to do a little bit more? Yeah, I'm ready. Hey, let's go ahead and do it. And before you know it, man, they can come and tell people like, I was just like you. But coach, I love how you said that, man. I love how you said that, and we need more gyms that's like that.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, that's a common mistake. But there's a shit ton of other ones. But that's a very, very common mistake.
Got you, got you. What's something your clients understand about boxing that most fighters overlook?
Are you talking about the people in my gym?
Yes.
That understand about boxing as a sport or on the professional side of the business?
Either or.
Okay. I think a big part that people understand in my gym, as far as boxing in general, they understand that it's a lot more than what you see on TV, as far as the show, as far as the fights, as far as the people they kind of tend to do, because they rub shoulders with these people. These are the people that you see in the gym, so they understand that these are day-to-day life. A lot of people don't, unless you're in a boxing gym, when you hear all professional boxers, you think that these guys don't have jobs and all they do is box. So when you see him in a gym, you're like, "Wait, he's going to work after this? Oh, he just came from work, or he got this." So they understand that it's a lot more than what you see on TV. I think that's a big one. And then also, and I get this comment from a lot of people, is a boxing gym is probably the only place in the world, in my opinion, that you can get people from every background, every age. It doesn't matter ethnicity. It doesn't matter anything. You have cops, convicts, blacks, whites, Mexicans, all in the same damn place, Republicans and Democrats, and no one gives up. They're there just grinding. And I think that's what boxing is to me. And I think people see that, especially if you come to a boxing gym. If you come to a real boxing gym, I feel every boxing gym is like that, where you're gonna have every walk of life.
Wow, outstanding, outstanding. Coach, got three more questions for you. So before we wrap it up, I want to ask you this. How do you personally stay sharp in business, coaching, and in boxing?
You gotta find inspiration. If you go in, day out without working towards something or something, then you don't have a goal. Then you kind of become stagnant. You know what I'm saying? So, like for
Yes.
example, if you don't have like a national championship that you're prepping for, that you want to win, you don't have a goal as far as, I want to grow my business 10% within this year. I want to open a second location, or whatever these goals are, and you're not working towards that, you become stagnant. And then when you find these goals, you have to be around people that have that same kind of mentality, that same grind, that are also trying to open up a second location, that are also trying to be champions, because that's what's going to push you. It's like running. If I'm running and I'm always running with my nephew that's 10 years old and he runs super slow because he's overweight, that's not pushing me. But if I get around fucking runners and I'm running at a 7 minute pace, and then suddenly the guy I'm running with is at a 6:36 minute pace, I'm gonna be pushing. Why? Because I'm fucking running right next to them. It's the same thing. You got to get around people that are inspiring you and pushing you to be better, because that's what's gonna make you wake up every day with a purpose. That's gonna make you wake up every day and be like, "Bro, let's do this shit. It's fucking Monday. I'm excited. This is my plan. This is blah blah blah." Does that make
Yeah,
sense? And that's
it
what I.
does. It does. It does. It does. Definitely got to talk to you offline more about that. I'm interested.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Coach. I'm an open book. Just ask away.
Coach, what do you think the future of boxing looks like in 10 years, and how are you preparing for it?
Man, I'm preparing man. Honestly, I think the boxing game is going to change dramatically here in the next few years. I think it's gonna go into more of a sport than the entertainment that it is now, like a show. Not that that's gonna go away. That's always gonna be there, but I feel that it's gonna be a whole lot more structured, and you're gonna draw different demographics where different people are gonna be a part of boxing, as far as maybe fans instead of just casual fans. And I feel like boxing could grow to be close to, or if not, the number one sport in the world because of the potential that it has, not just as a fan, but also what it does to people. That's what I think. That's where, and how I'm preparing for it. If I told you, you would think I'm crazy, Coach. But you're gonna find out here this year. I can't really share too much, but if I told you, you would think I'm crazy. So just know that I'm prepping for it.
Okay, okay, okay. What do you think about the new technology, like when it comes to AI doing the judging and the scoring? What do you think about that?
Hey, to be honest, at the beginning, I thought it was good. I thought it'd be great. But I think human error is good. I think human error is good. Let me tell you why I think it's good. It creates controversy. It creates things to talk about. Oh, what the hell was that guy looking? What is he watching? Like for example, I don't know if familiar you are with soccer, but in the 80s when Argentina won the World Cup in Mexico, one thing that happened was they call it la mano de Dios, the hand of God. Is Diego Maradona, one of the greatest soccer players in the history of soccer, went up and scored a goal, and it looked like he hit it with his head, but what he really did, he went with his hand and did that, and he actually threw the ball in, and he scored a goal. But that was historic. He won. They won the World Cup. But in today's age, they would have got AI. They would have went back to instant replay. They would have saw his hand, and it wouldn't have been a goal, and it wouldn't be as historic as it is now. It's
Right.
literally one of the most talked about events in the history of soccer. Is that moment there? So little things like that, to me, I think obviously it sucks. Obviously it's, oh, what the hell, he cheated in a way or whatever, human error, blah blah blah. But it adds excitement to an extent that AI is not. We're trying to be too damn perfect. And then the other thing that I don't like, I feel like AI or instant video, when you challenge a play, it kind of kills the mood. Like you're watching, let's say, a basketball game, and you're freaking all into it, and then suddenly they go back to to instant replay because the coaches challenge, and now you had a run, and now suddenly 2 3 minutes of freaking downtime because they're looking at this replay. It's like
Right.
it's like, man, my personal opinion, it kills the energy. If it was quicker or something, or I also wouldn't mind having like judges. Like let's say there's three judges in a boxing fight. You have two humans and AI. I think that'd be
Hmm.
cool. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You got an AI and you got two humans, but all AI, all electronic, all this.
Got you, got you, got you. Coach, my last and final question for you is this. If you could tell your younger self one thing before starting the academy, what would it be?
Before starting the academy, you said?
Yes.
Man, enjoy the journey. That's what I would tell. I would tell myself, be patient. So what I mean by that is a lot of people try to find their purpose in their career or the quickest way to get rich as soon as possible. Like it's almost like they're urgent. Like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. And I had this actually conversation with one of my boxers yesterday, and I talked to him, and I talked to him like this. I said, "What are you doing right now?" He's like, "I just graduated." I'm like, "All right, so you just graduated. So what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your day?" He's like, "Nothing. I'm not doing nothing." I'm like, you're not doing nothing, and you're asking me, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? I said, do any of them. Any of them is better than nothing. Do any of them. You do the first option, it doesn't work out, you hate it, you quit. Do the next one. That don't work out, you hate it, you quit. You do the next one. Maybe you love it, maybe you do something, maybe you learn. Just fucking do something. The fact that everyone is not trying to do anything because you're waiting for the perfect or the it job or the it career is fucking stupid. Because, for example, with me, what made me successful now, taking to where I am today, is my journey. Everything that I did through my entire life, from working as an undocumented, working under the table, minimum wage jobs, washing dishes, janitor, and the restaurant business, wrenching on cars, all this bullshit, getting paid under minimum wage, and fucking all this shit made me not only a good leader, a good worker, but it made me learn. I was learning throughout the entire time. So when I got into the position to actually have a business, I knew what I wanted to treat my employees like. I knew what I wanted to treat my customers like. I knew what I wanted my athletes to be like, and what experience I wanted to provide for my athletes. I knew that. Why? Because I went through that full experience. I was a client, I was an athlete, I was an employee, I was all of that. But if I never would have experienced none of that, I would have never be who I am today. So if I would have told myself anything from when I was young, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Do what you do. As long as you're being a good person, as long as you're working hard and you're getting creative, your passion will present itself when it's ready to rock. But if you keep playing bullshit and not doing nothing, that shit will never come. So just go out there. Cause look, another thing too, when you're out there and you're and let's say I get a job at I'm an intern at fucking I don't know, I'm at eBay. I'm making up shit. And I'm an intern at eBay and I'm there and I have zero interest in anything. But then suddenly I'm my responsibility is to put these things away and I'm there and suddenly I see what people do and I'm like, wow, I could do that. And then I start learning it. And then suddenly I'm like, wait, I could do this better. Boom, you just got a fucking idea. That idea would have never been there if your ass would never took that intern at eBay. You know what I'm saying? Fucking go out there. Go out there and just do shit. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
Wow, that's what's up, Coach. I thank you for your time today, Coach. Coach, please let us know what you got going on. Well, got coming up in the future. How people can reach out to you on your social media platforms. Anything. Please let us know.
Yeah, I'm the most active on Instagram. Instagram is El Rey de Sacra. EL_REY_DE_SACRA. The King of Sac. Jose Morales on Instagram. You can connect with me on there.
Everybody, this will be down below so you can get everything on YouTube and on Instagram. But Coach Jose Morales, more than a trainer, more than a businessman, he's proof that you can build something powerful when you lead with the heart, discipline, and purpose. To everyone listening, remember success isn't just about the ring, isn't just about fighting the ring, it's in the habits, the mindset, and the people you surround yourself with. Remember what makes a champion: the foods you eat, the times you sleep, the friends you keep, the words you speak, and the knowledge you seek. My name is Coach Stokes. Stay sharp, stay grounded. This is Live with me. I'm out. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach.